cannabis use doesn't increase car crash risk, but drinking alcohol does. Study finds by Ben Adlin. Cannabis use is not associated with higher odds of car accidents, according to a new study by researchers who looked at drivers who visited emergency departments. In fact, high self-reported acute cannabis use was actually associated with lower odds of a crash. Alcohol, meanwhile, whether associated by itself or combined with cannabis, that's the crossfade, showed a clear correlation with odds of a collision. To arrive at the results, researchers performed a cross-sectional study of emergency departments in Denver, Colorado, Portland, Oregon, and Sacramento, California. They obtained drivers' blood and measured it for THC and metabolites, recorded alcohol levels as measured by a breathalyzer or in the course of clinical care, and conducted interviews with the drivers. They looked at groups of drivers who had been in motor vehicle accidents and, as a control, those who had come to the emergency department for other reasons. While most cannabis advocates do not dispute that cannabis can impair a driver's ability to safely operate a car, this study found that the mere use of cannabis did not correlate to higher rates of motor vehicle collisions. Alcohol use alone or alcohol use combined with cannabis use were both independently associated with higher odds of motor vehicle collisions. Strikingly, drivers who used more cannabis were actually less likely to crash. In light of the results, the authors concluded something that we already know. THC levels are a less than reliable indicator of driving risk, suggesting that a better test would be a measure of actual impairment. The researchers noted that one limit of the study could be that it only included drivers who agreed to participate. As such, participants may have less concerning cannabis use behaviors. Self-reported use may likely be biased. As more states have considered legalizing cannabis, many have expressed concern that legal access to cannabis could lead to higher rates of use by drivers, and in turn, a greater risk to public safety. But research shows that the relationship between cannabis use
Where does sound go?
Concerns are simply concerns and not rooted in the real world evidence. The effort and expense of developing some tool to measure cannabis use in a driver seems to be a waste of time. It's prudent to develop tools for problems that exist rather than problems that don't. Last summer, a congressional report from the House Appropriations Committee continues to state that it continues to support the development of an objective standard to measure cannabis impairment and related field sobriety tests to ensure highway safety. Unfortunately, our government regulators are not following the real-world evidence. Cannabis is not alcohol. It should not be regulated like alcohol. Cannabis intoxication will just as easily occur at low doses or at high doses, and apparently doesn't correlate with motor vehicle collisions. What do you think? Should we stop searching for a reason to give people tickets when the public health risk doesn't exist? This is Dr. Jean Talleyrand with High at 9 News.
I am so glad that a doctor is saying this right here, that this phenomenon that all these prohibitionists are talking about all the time does not exist. I say this all the time, and you guys always try to poo-poo on me.
The data doesn't support it.
The data does not support it. It's true. There is no such thing as drug driving. It is a fake phenomenon.
I've said it since
cannabis drug driving.
Yes.
I wouldn't trust you behind the wheel if you took a bunch of benzos.
Well, first of all, Dr. T, you wouldn't have to worry about that because I wouldn't be taking benzos in the first place, but you would catch me, you know what I'm saying, with something like this, just waving it around in the air.
Yeah. Chances are, if you're in LA, terrible drivers everywhere, most likely on pills, not on anything else.
Most of the people on pills can't afford cars in LA.
You talking about all of Hollywood is all drugged up on pills, man?
That's different. That's different. Those people have drivers. Those people have drivers.
Dude, I was on the 110 and 3 years ago, and saw a S550 matted out, just chilling in the HOV lane, not going anywhere. I saw TMZ an hour later. It was Britney Spears driving her own damn car.
That's like the easiest example of a celebrity that is a train wreck, bro. Stop it. That's the you choose that as the example, bro. Stop
driving her own damn car.
Stop it.
Passed out.
Stop it. Stop it. I can't even accept that as a logical rebuttal right there.
I'm just saying.
Exactly. Everyone knows Britney Spears is a train wreck. I would have accepted more if you would have used Caitlyn Jenner. If you would have referenced Caitlyn Jenner.
More people than you know are a train wreck. Let's keep it a buck. This is America.
What are you saying?
She just has a spotlight on her. I'm saying America has a lot of messed up people. Cannabis is not legalized on a national level. So you got a lot of people dealing with their problems in other ways that are not healthy. Britney Spears just has a spotlight. She's under a microscope all the time. So leave Britney alone.
Did she say, oops, I did it again?
Probably so.
Was she smoking a joint?
No, she was not. She was drinking an orange Fanta, Dr. T. Yeah. What do you think about this, Elise?
I think it's great news. We need more stories like this, or studies like this published, and more people to be aware of it. And like Dr. T said, I think that the test should be about impairment, not about levels of THC in the blood.
I wonder if you're ultimately going to be able to get like a fancy little weed leaf on your driver's license at some point in time.
That'd be great.
Well, the problem is that
Go ahead, Dr. T.
state that's using our tax dollars are paying to try to make tests for a problem that doesn't exist. That's the part that bothers me, that they're misusing our funds, on some myth. Look at the real world evidence.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. It's more government pork, Dr. T. More government.
I like the point that we have a doctor here who's drawing the distinction between alcohol and tobacco. Alcohol is toxic. At some dose, high dose, it'll kill you. So some dose, just less than a high dose, you're severely impaired. And the reason why they can use blood alcohol content to assess driver impairment is because they've made a statistically valid correlation. They could say that when you have this blood level alcohol content, you are this impaired. Until that study is done with cannabis, they can't use THC levels. So yeah, I'm glad that they're using an impairment. And I think what they'll find is that, users of cannabis won't have the level of impairment as alcohol users. I mean, that's almost obvious.
Fair point. Did you have something else to say on that, Dr. T?
No, I'm good.
You're all good. All right.
Be safe out there.
Just be safe out there and support the crossfade. That's right. And be safe. Don't drink and drive, smoke and fly. And on that, we are going to go to
the left lane is for passing. The right lane is for not passing.
No, the left
pass in the left lane.
The left lane is for Jason because I move faster than everybody.
And always pass to the left.
Yes.
Jason, are you saying you're left? Interesting.
Yeah.
I drive in the left lane, that's for sure, and I am left-handed, which means at least that I am in my right state of mind all the time. And on that, we're going to go to a commercial, and we're going to be right back.